example 3 on page 597 solve this equation. This section is about the quadratic formula, so we'll use this formula for solving this equation, this quadratic equation. So we have x squared plus x plus 1 equal to 0. You know this is a quadratic formula or equation because you have x squared term and it matches with this form. Now before using the quadratic formula, make sure you have the right hand side equal to 0. Now, we're given the right hand side equals 0, so that's good. That's when you don't need to rewrite this equation. The next thing you need to do is recognize which one is A, which one is B, which one is C from the given equation. So A is the coefficient of x squared. So x squared here has coefficient 1, so A is equal to 1. For B is the coefficient of x. So B is here, which is 1, because coefficient of x is 1. C is the constant term. So we have the constant term here is 1, so C is equal to 1. Now we're ready to use the formula, the quadratic formula. So given x equal to 2a, negative b, let me substitute directly. So using this formula here, so subtract or negative b, what is b? b is 1, okay, plus or minus square root of b squared. So what is b? b is 1, so 1 squared, minus 4 times ac. A is 1, c is 1, divided by 2a. 2 times a is 1. Okay? Now simplify. So we have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared is 1, minus 4 times 1 times 1 is 4, divided by 2 times 1 is 2. So rewriting this, we have, now 1 minus 4 is negative 3, divided by 2. Now, we learned that square root of a negative value does not exist as a real number, or negative radicand of any radical with even index of k will not exist as a real number. So that means we're going to express this as a complex number. Okay, we cover previous sections. So for this term right here, negative square root of negative 3, you can rewrite this as negative 1 times 3. Okay, we covered this earlier, but let me simplify this for you so that you see that this is a complex number. You can split this radical to negative 1 times square root of 3. Okay, and then remember, I is equal to square root of negative 1. So that means I'm going to replace I for this. Okay, so this square root of negative 1 is I times square root of 3. Okay, so I'm replacing this to the square root of negative 3 over here. So I have negative 1 plus or minus. To replace square root of negative 3 with this, I have I, let me rewriting this as square root of 3i. Just switching position of the two factors, okay? So square root of 3 times I divided by 2. And look like you cannot simplify any further. You can leave the answer like this. And these are solutions of these equations. Let me see how in the books they show the answer. So this is example 3. They have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 3i divided by 2. So you can leave the answer like this, or you can split the answer if you want. So in the books, it also shows the answer can be written as negative 1 plus or minus, this is over 2, okay? Plus or minus, you split this fraction, you will have a square root of 3 divided by 2 times I. So make sure you recognize these two because they are equivalent. They are the same. They represent the same solution. So you split these two, you have -1 divided by 2 plus or minus square root of 3 divided by 2. You got this. And I go here. And let me see anything else that I need to talk about. And that's pretty much. So solutions of these equations are these two. And if you're interested, you can substitute each value of x into this equation. Simplify, you should get the left-hand side equal to the right-hand sides. Okay? So this is the answer for example 3.